Let me just check the angle. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Let me just fix this. Sorry. See if that's a little bit better. Okay. Hello, everyone. Please let me know in the comments that you can hear and see me okay. I would appreciate that. And I'm just pulling up the comments right now. Welcome, Senta, to Awaken Your Mind. Gigi, welcome to Angelic Messages. You guys are the best. You guys definitely keep me going. My members are everything to me. So thank you, you guys. Hello, smart, savvy, and loved. Dolphin Jess, love it. Thank you. Okay, you can hear and see me. So I don't know if you all got to see what I wrote in the community post, but obviously it's with a heavy heart that I say Maggie did pass. My members know that I was doing, the readings for my members, and I was like, you know what, we're ending. I need to check on her. Something is off, and I'm so glad I did. To make a long story short, she had a brain tumor, and it was inoperable. And so 9 months to the day, I lost her. Uh, 9 months to the day of when my brother David passed, and you might remember he was her last caregiver, and even like right down to the hour of that day of when I got the news that he had passed. So really painful. And I know this may come as a surprise to some of you, but 6 days later, I did bring Annie back for her checkup. She had extensive dental surgery, extensive. It was serious. It wasn't like, say, just taking out a tooth or something. Um, she has been diagnosed with terminal bone cancer. And so it is aggressive. Right now, she's comfortable. She's laying in the bed. So, just really hard, seeing like your best friend sick. But right now, she's comfortable. And just so I can assure all of you, we do go to a special hospital for cats, the feline hospital. And the owner of the feline hospital, and they're just celebrating, well, the owner, the founder of the feline hospital, Dr. Turner, they're celebrating their 40th anniversary. She has, dedicated her life to cats, and she did take over in Maggie's case, and she is overseeing Annie's case also, as well as another cat specialist. Um, and then to add to that, you know that Michael's mother's been sick. She spent 3 weeks in the hospital. She, I guess, stabilized just enough that they could put her in a short-term unit in a nursing home. But this morning, we got the call that she was being transferred to a different hospital, and so decisions are going to be made today and tomorrow. So it's just a lot at once. Um, so I know I owe some of you emails and all of that. Please just have patience with me, is what I'm asking. This is sort of extraordinary circumstances. Let me take a sip of water. But, anyways, what I wanted to do, and this is actually why I'm choosing this angle, it's not by mistake that I am in portrait mode, not landscape, is because I actually wanted to do a full spread, a full Celtic cross on how the Jeffrey files are going to be affecting 45. I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about, and how this is all going to pan out for him. Now, in the midst of all of this, because Annie right now wants all the snuggles in the world, right? So I'm snuggling her, but as I'm doing that, it's giving me some quiet time to work on my 2026 predictions. And I'm going to share with you a prediction that I do have for 2026. And that is the year that we see massive changes in leadership around the world, um, from England to Russia to the US. And so 45 is part of that, but not just a change in leadership, because we change leadership, like leaders come and go, right? It's the nature of things. But endings of regimes. endings of regimes and the way things have always been done. And so I think that's really important. And before I get to that, I want to show you something special from Otter Spirit. You guys know, like, I don't promote anyone else. I do love them. They have a new product. First of all, I love the magnetic box. And um, look at this new product. They let me pick the one that I wanted. And this is a beautiful garnet sphere. Isn't that amazing? And they come with these great cards so you can read all about it. Um, I am passionate and loving. The intention is for confidence and love. I would also say really good for root chakra work, grounding, feeling safe, secure. I picked it because I'm a January baby. You know, this is our birthstone. Um, and all of their crystals are all AAA grade. And they do give $1 for each from each sale to the sea otters. So the code is, if you want to purchase them or take a look at them, um, for their website and all that, it's in the description box. And I do, and the reason why I do is because you guys get a coupon. And I have a coupon in there now that the more you buy, the more you save. So I just love that sphere. Yes, Mary Beth, I agree. The astrology is a bit off the hook right now, right? For everybody. And there's going to definitely be some intense moments in December, but I don't think December is going to have quite. I know there's some squares coming up in December, but I don't think it's going to be quite as bad as November. I don't. I mean, my goodness. Barbara, that's your birthstone also? Yes. Yes, otters hold hands when they sleep. Oh my goodness, aren't they the sweetest things? You know, Michael, my husband, is always afraid that he's going to come home and find that like I adopted a pig or an otter or something like that because I love animals. Absolutely. And thank you for all of your nice words and your kind wishes. I do appreciate that. Um, you know, and please do check out membership because here's the thing: there are some things that I cannot say on a public channel that I will be saying after this. It's 5 p.m. Eastern my time, 6 p.m. right after this. We're doing a let's chat, and I'm going to talk about something that I haven't heard anyone talk about with these Jeffrey files, and something else with 45 that I actually think is going to be the real shocker when it does come out. You know, and it's going to come out eventually, right? I don't know the exact date, but it will definitely be coming out. Um, and then after that, I do have book club, the soul coaching with Denise Lynn, and I do have that certified Denise Lynn soul coach coming in for the book club. So amazing. And if any of you are certified by any of these great people, you know, there's so many like, you know, Dr. Joe Vitale, Dr. Joe Dispenza, so many of them offer these great certification programs. I think Yasmin Boland does too with her Moonology. If any of you are any of those sort of certified people, please send me an email. Go to my website, Dianne Aquarius, and fill that out. Please get in touch with me, okay? But like I said too, please, no one take offense that I'm not getting back with emails as quickly as I could be right now. Please understand. Um, you know, whatever happens with Michael's mother in the next 24 hours, it's going to alter, you know, my husband's life for forever. Um, so all right, let's look at this. And I am putting out more videos this week. Ones that I think that you guys are really going to like, actually. Okay, so Spirit, what is it that we need to know about 45 and these Jeffrey files? Where does this end up taking him? What path does this lead him on? Okay. Wow, what is up with all these knights? 3 knights already. There's only 4 on the deck, right? Okay. And then I'm just going to do a couple of clarifiers Okay. Would you believe that he got the Seven of Swords in the challenge area? Right? That's our little Russian friend. In this deck, it's an ostrich. All right, I'm just going to clarify the short term, which was the Queen of Pentacles, and I will go through this with you so you understand what I'm seeing. And then what my predictions actually are. Okay, this is why, for those of you that haven't taken my tarot classes, this is why when you go to clarify something, you use a second deck. So I went to clarify the Queen of Pentacles and I got the Queen of Pentacles. That is the universe absolutely saying, pay attention. We're trying to tell you the Queen of Pentacles, don't look for something else. Okay, message received. And welcome to everyone that just came in. If you haven't already, please hit like, subscribe. Meant to tell everybody. When I looked at the stats in the YouTube Studio app that the creators have, only 6% of you have your bells turned on for notifications. And only half of you that watch me are subscribed. Now, I'm not surprised because I have been noticing I am missing the content of my favorite creators. And when I went to check, the bells were unchecked. I was unsubscribed. And so make sure that you actually are subscribed and the bell is on because only 6% of you are even getting alerts. So keep that in mind. Okay. So the significator card. I can pick it up. The Knight of Wands. Now, the Knight of Wands, out of all the knights, he is the one that's really like moving and shaking things, right? He is the card of drastic change. So, the question was, how does this affect 45, these Jeffrey files coming out? And let me just come right out and say, I am not foolish. I do not think that we're going to be getting the whole files and that they're not going to be sanitized and scrubbed and redacted. And no, I think a lot of that is, but it won't be forever. It won't be forever. And I do feel a huge shift in January for him, but I do think things start cooking up in December. And I would not be surprised at all if they start impeachment proceedings in a few weeks to a month. Okay. So yeah, this is drastically going to change his life. Now, his obstacle was the Knight of Pentacles, and I wanted to clarify it, and I got the Seven of Swords. So things are, I think from our perspective, are not moving fast enough because the Knight of Pentacles is the slowest knight, right? He is not the mover and shaker. But definitely a guy you may want to date, right? Because we always think of knights as sort of like eligible bachelors, right? And so he is very steadfast. So being steadfast, reliable, is a challenge for 45 when it comes to this, right? So because it's shaking things up. Also, too, there is a financial connection. And as we go further out in this, you're going to see there is a money trail here. That's what's standing out to me. When you do a Celtic Cross spread, you always take a moment and you look down and see, okay, what is like really standing out? There's a money trail. And Seven of Swords. In the typical tarot, that's the little Russian man that's, stealing 5 of the 7 swords and he's trying to get away with it. And these are his challenges. Something to do with the money trail, deceit, stealing, that sort of thing. Okay. So what's above him? Like what's maybe even in his conscious thoughts? The Ace of Pentacles, the money trail. So what is he worried about? What's on his mind? Because I think, if you start following the money, and this is what I'm going to get into in membership, you're going to see something else come up because we keep talking about, the girls in the situation, right? The girls that were victimized and whatnot. But to me, it's like as a psychic, I keep picking up on something else that I don't hear anyone talking about. And so there's more money to be found here. His subconscious thoughts is he's just trying to persevere. He feels like wounded, he's bandaged up like this guy. He feels like he's been battered around. Uh, this is not going the way he thought it would, right? It's not going the way he thought it would. And so he's trying to persevere. And I will add too, I do think he is sick. I mean, I I don't know if you have to be psychic or just have a pair of eyes to see that. He's not a well man. He isn't. Um, in the past, Knight of Cups, the way I am going to interpret that when it comes to the Jeffrey files and all of that, these were opportunities, these were deals, these were things that he received, like opportunities that came from this. So this was part of something bigger. Okay. And I also want you to think about, too, once again, I don't hear a lot of people talking about this, just a few here and there, is when he was first in office, when he was 45, he separated those families at the border, right? And where are those children? And I have done more deep dives into this. Some have been recovered, some have. Many have not, boys and girls. Okay. Oh, there's Annie in the background. I gave her a little something to eat in the other room. So, over the next 3 months, really interesting. So, this is the short term. I get the Queen of Pentacles, and I want to make sure, like, I'm getting the full message. And the clarifier is the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, message received, Spirit. They want me to focus on the Queen of Pentacles. So, a woman that can control money. Okay. My eyes are on Ghislaine Maxwell. Um, I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. I am concerned about her safety. Not because I think she's a good person, but because she is a treasure trove of information. And, she is a woman with money that like to control money, that lived that lifestyle. But also too, these are also the women, these victims. I don't know if you have seen in the last week or two, they've made some incredible videos. They have, been signing petitions, putting their names out there, which I think is incredibly brave. And the other card I got was the Star card. And if you're new to my channel, the Star card is one of two cards that I have for the US. And so even though I think there's absolutely an international flair to the whole Jeffrey scandal, absolutely, what we're going to be finding out has an impact on the US. And we're going to find out more about what's going on in the US, what's really happening to some of these children and that sort of thing. So, all right, coming over here, the way others see him, and when I say others, people around him, his own guides, spirit, just others. And it is the Eight of Cups. They see him walking away, leaving. I don't think that there is a psychic or astrologer alive, even the ones that are pro 45, that see him staying for the full, term. Right? It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And also, too, when I was talking earlier about my 2026 predictions and the regime change, I also don't think there's anyone that sees Vance staying until the end of the term either. Why? Because I think there's going to be a whole MAGA regime change. Okay, we're in for a very different time. Now, the way he sees himself, he is still having the delusions of winning, being successful. The Four of Wands here, right? Celebrating accomplishments, making milestones, all that sort of thing. So I don't think he's grounded, and there's nothing in this reading to make me think that he is grounded. Actually, he isn't. He is still sort of But I do think that there's going to come a point where reality does hit him for sure. Welcome, Crystal. Welcome to membership. And I should take a second too. So the Living with Ease is the very first one, and you do get that Let's Chat once a month, and you get the Living with Ease playlist. The next one is Meet Your Spirit Guide, and you get that whole Meet Your Spirit Guide class plus the Living with Ease stuff. And then from there is where it gets good. The Awaken Your Mind, that's where you get dozens of classes. You get the channelings, you get the lives. I read for you, you know. And by the time you get up to the angel members, you're getting everything. They get the live angel channelings, which we are doing Tuesday, guys. They're getting the psychic development class that's live on Tuesdays. So I just want to throw that out there. Hopes and fears. Here's my other card for the US, the Empress. And isn't it interesting how we're getting like these really strong maternal cards? These are the most maternal, motherly cards in the deck. And I think we've always said, because we've all of us have always known that it is going to be a woman that takes him out, or women that take him out. And yes, and once again, the United States is going to prevail. This is a horrible stage that we're going through, right? But good always does win. Maybe not in the moment and not as fast as we want it to, but it does. It does, you know? So when I look at the long term, like the ultimate outcome, very interesting. I got the Two of Wands, Three of Wands, and I'm not surprised, Four of Swords. So Two of Wands, he's trying to figure things out. He's trying to come up with a plan. Nothing's quite certain. This is an international card. This is where, okay, now we're beyond the US. This is where it's having a global impact. And Three of Wands, well, I mean, Three of Wands is very similar to the Eight of Cups. There's only 3 cards in the deck where the character's back is turned, they're leaving. So he does leave, right? He's not going to stay. He's not going to stay. But now Four of Swords, I am not surprised, because if you remember, because this is the card of sickness, right? The character's laying down flat with the swords above him. And I am not surprised, because if you remember, what have I always said? I've always said, I do think no matter what, it's going to be illness that removes him. Or he, uses illness as an excuse, to be taken out of the mayhem that he has created. But, whether it's true or not, you know what I mean? I do think he is sick, but, it is what it is. So let's see if there's anything else we can add to this. Yes, everybody, check your bell. Make sure it's turned on, because only 6% of you are getting an alert. Okay, what else do we need to know? Justice. Not surprised that we're getting the Justice card. Yeah, justice is coming. That's how this is all going to play out. And in the end, it's going to play out legally in the courtroom. Yes. And this is how, because, the question originally was, how does the Jeffrey files getting released actually end up affecting him when everything is said and done? Yeah, he feels betrayed. He feels stabbed in the back. These people that he thought was going to protect him, now they're not. And, the card of apathy, not liking any of the choices in front of him, just feeling kind of miserable, going into like a depression. I go to the bottom of the deck. Three of Swords could literally mean something, heart, cardiac related, but also to him feeling sad because, well, karma caught up with him. And karma is going to continue to catch up with him for sure. So I hope that this was helpful. Give you a little bit of insight into, what is going on with there. Because I wanted to do something sooner, but with everything going on, I didn't. But just know we are heading in the right direction. Justice is coming. And I do think the Republican Party is going to be turning on him, left and right, because no one's going to want to be associated with us, right? This is like being a pariah. Nobody wants that. What are my thoughts on Gavin Newsom? My thoughts remain the same. And please understand that this is a psychic prediction, not a personal preference. I know sometimes you guys get that confused. And I do think he will be the Democratic choice for president. So, yeah, I really haven't, steered from that one. So I'm going to use, by Colette Baron Reed, Wisdom of the Oracle pocket divination cards. I love these. So just take a nice deep breath and just ask the universe what message you need right now. And just go with your gut. Everyone is psychic. And if you want to improve those skills, join my Tuesday class. 1, 2, or 3. Here we go. So number 1 is all that glitters. All that glitters, right? What's that saying? All that glitters isn't gold. And so maybe look a little bit harder at maybe something that you're wishing for or you're longing for, something that's been presented to you, because maybe it's not quite what it seems, or it's not really going to pan out in the way that you wanted it to. It's sort of like if something is too good to be true, it probably is. Okay. Number 2, I love this. Breathe, breathe, right? She's in the lotus position. She's centering herself. And actually, if you did the soul coaching, right? If you did this book that I was talking about, you will be in the space where you are breathing, right? Because you've decluttered your mind, your space, your emotions. Sometimes we need to just pause and breathe. So I like that. And then this one's fantastic. Number 3 is Treasure Island. I love that. So that makes me think, and it's like, yeah, it's like treasure on top of a turtle. I love it. And it's the number 9, and we're in a 9 year, right? So that makes me feel like you're heading in the right direction towards whatever it is you're treasuring, whatever it is you want, whatever that goal is, you are heading in the right direction. So I love that. It also makes me think of the Hermit card being, the 9, and, the Hermit just takes one step at a time to get where he's going. But he does it in a very methodical, intelligent way. So I like that. Let me see. I wanted to gift some memberships. Let's see if it'll let me do that. All right. Perfect. Okay. So for 5 of you that didn't have a membership before, Annie Moore, Fairy Dust. Let me see. Julian Wilson. Jean Murphy. Wait, that's oh, Patricia Burkham. So nice. All right. I hope you enjoy that. Enjoy your membership, guys. All right. So, like I said, I'll be putting out some more videos this week that I think you're going to find interesting. I'm going to do a pendulum predictions on 2026, and a couple of other surprise videos. So, all right, my friends, have a beautiful Sunday night. And members, I will be seeing you in half an hour. Bye, everybody.